Good evening. Welcome to the City of Opa-locka regular commission, workshop, COVID-19 workshop. We called this workshop as a commission a few weeks ago at the start of COVID-19 so that we can come together under the sunshine and talk about the day-to-day changes that are happening due to COVID-19, issues we have to address as a commission, and provide the public an opportunity to engage us, voice their concerns, and let us know what is going on. So this is a weekly workshop that we're doing every week at Thursday at 5:30 p.m. Madam Attorney, could you go through the protocols that govern virtual meetings?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Pursuant to Executive Order number 20-69 issued by the Office of the Governor Ron DeSantis on March the 20th, 2020, municipalities may conduct meetings of their governing boards without having a quorum of its members present physically or at any specific location and utilizing communications media technology such as telephonic or video conferencing as provided by Section 120.54 5B2 Florida statutes. The members of the City Commission appearing remotely for this meeting are Vice Mayor Davis, Commissioner Bass, Commissioner Burt, and Commissioner Kelly and Mayor Pygott. An opportunity for the public was given for the public to email the city clerk with questions, concerns, and comments on items. And at this time, Madam Clerk, did you receive any items for this meeting?
Yes, we have two.
So the speakers will be announced at the appropriate time by the mayor, and would just like to remind the members of the commission that they should use their buttons or devices to speak. This is a virtual meeting and we will rely upon an accurate record. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Madam Attorney. Madam Clerk, can you do roll call?
Commissioner Bass. Commissioner Burke.
Here.
Vice Mayor Davis.
Here.
Commissioner Kelly.
Present.
Mayor Pygott.
I'm here. Commissioner Kelly, could you lead us in invocation?
Our Father and our God, we thank you for all of your many blessings. We thank you, God, for life, health, and strength. We thank you we come together, God. Give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Do those things which are pleasing in your sight. In Jesus' name we do pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Chief, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Unmute your mic, Chief.
Yes, sir. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
To America. And
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, could you go over the public comment, the protocols for public comment, and let people know where we are, and then proceed to read the public comments that we've received.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. The public had an opportunity to submit their comments ahead of the meeting via email at publiccomments@opalockafl.gov. Comments submitted by members of the public by email will be read into the record during the meeting as long as they provide the comments by the deadline, which is 2 hours prior to the scheduled meeting time. Comments received after the deadline will be kept for the record, but will not be read during the meeting.
Thank you. We proceed with the public comment.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This public comment is from Natasha Irvin, 670 Dunette Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. Let me say I am extremely proud of my community during these times of protest. I'm hoping that going forward, we're at the table now, planning for what ifs and uncertainties of life. While we're at the table, I would like to make sure that we are planning to adequately train our officers, making sure that our officers have adequate equipment to deal with the uncertainties of life and its situations. Do we have an emergency procedure policy in place? If not, we need one ASAP. I'm also extremely concerned about summer camp in our city. As many of you know, I love Parks and Rec and I love the kids in our community. It pains me to say this, however, I do not agree with our city having summer camp. If the county haven't decided to have summer camp for the obvious reasons, then how are we moving forward? Let's follow the county's lead. Let's be smart with this one. All lives matter. Thank you. And that's from Natasha Irvin. And would you like me to continue with the second one, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so the second one is from Trina Brinson, 13875 Northwest 22nd Avenue, Opa-locka, Florida. Mayor, Commission, and City Manager. I have been a resident of the great city of Opa-locka for 15 plus years. I was watching the workshop last week. I heard something that really concerns me. Needless to say, we should not authorize any program to be held in none of our facilities during the time of this pandemic. We are all aware that Opa-locka has over 300 coronavirus cases in our city. The safety of our citizens should come first. How could anybody expect children to stay in one place for a period of 8 hours? It would be impossible for staff to keep all the masks on the children. Why can't we just do virtual camp like most of Miami-Dade County parks and school for the summer? Any state-funded program has guidelines, we have to follow them. For example, in order for the city staff to assist private sector, everybody has to be DCF certified. Why do we have to give free space to private sector and they charge parent a fee? Last year, the registration fee was $100 per child. The park department has suffered a great deal with this program coming into our park. Check the number from this favor costing our park department thousands of dollars and padding the pocket of the private sector. We don't need private sector to pay salaries to stop layoff or furlough. They need to find another location so that they can stop tearing up our building. They get free rent and pocket the monies for weekly fee. But just remember, in case of emergency, City of Opa-locka is fully responsible for everything that happens to our facility. And that concludes the public comment from Ms. Brinson.
All right, thank you very much. Is there any, anyone has any response to public comment or colleagues? Okay, all right. As we move on to the discussion now, I do want to take a moment to bring up what one of the participants brought up. We will be talking about the parks program, so we'll savor those comments for later. But in terms of the national uprising, the unrest going on across the country, the city of Opa-locka is taking the time to figure out, to review how we use of force and what we're doing to support our police during this time. So please be on the lookout due to the nature of this workshop was called to COVID-19. We're not going to be able to go into details on how we're going to respond to what's going on across the country. However, we have made it a point to do so at the upcoming commission meeting on Wednesday. What's that, June? Wednesday at 7 o'clock. June 10th. Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Wednesday at June 10th. So please, if you're interested, provide more comments. If you have any thoughts, ideas, suggestions on what we should be doing as a city in response to what's going on, please email myself, the commission, and submit your thoughts to public comments at opalockafl.gov so that we can hear your concerns, we can be responsive and make sure that we are addressing the issues that people are feeling all across this country, especially in the city of Opa-locka. So thank you very much for bringing that to our attention. Moving on to our discussion items. As I said at the beginning of this workshop, we're here for us to come together to discuss what we're doing in response to COVID-19. So staff have things they want to present to us as a commission and to the public. So with that, Mr. Manager, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have any slides this meeting, so you can keep your agenda up. We're going to look for a report from police, as well as our media and marketing consultant. And then I'll provide final remarks in regards to testing and other related issues. Chief Dobson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commission. In reference to the within the last week, throughout the community, we've issued warnings for approximately 69 face masks, failure to wear face mask warnings, 115 social distancing warnings, 1 COVID arrest at a convenience store and outside of curfew. We had 2 officers with initiated arrests within this past week that actually arrested someone that was COVID positive. Those officers were tested, quarantined, and I'm happy to say that both officers are resulted back negative. And in reference to the question that spoke about earlier, we are definitely in the process currently now of obtaining more training for our officers, but not until the training facilities open back up will we be able to do that. And I'll bring that back at a later date on what training we're looking for our officers throughout this time. And definitely also with ordering more equipment for our officers during this time. We haven't had any other issues here in the city. We work jointly with other municipalities to assist us with any uprisings, but we haven't had any within our community. We've also been providing security on a nightly basis every night from 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning for our walk-up COVID site. And I'm here to answer any other questions you may have at this time in reference to police.
Any questions for the chief?
Mr. Mayor?
Commissioner Kelly?
Yes, if I'm looking at the daily report, you only had, you had 2 warnings for wearing masks, and you had 11 at one complex and 29 at another, or that was a social distance. Is that a social distance?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. Any other questions for the chief?
Mr. Mayor, real quick.
Vice Mayor Davis?
Through the mayor, Mr. Chief, can you speak to the training, I guess some of the training that we're scheduled to have our staff participate in?
Mr. Mayor?
You have the floor, chief.
Yes, sir. Vice Mayor, they haven't released the trainings yet, but some of the trainings we're talking about de-escalation. Human diversity was one of the trainings that they're talking about. There are several more that come out of their community oriented policing training, knowing the environment and things like that, so that people officers are a bit more sensitive into the areas that we police and different things that's going on for the social and economical aspect of the policing within the community.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Manager?
Chief Dobson, do
Yes,
any
sir.
of the officers currently have this training? Do you have any officers currently on your staff that have the training currently today?
Which training, Mr. Manager?
As far as the training you discussed, the training that you're trying to get for the officers, is this for the entire department or just some officers that haven't received the training yet?
That's going to be both. As far as human diversity and things like that, everyone has been trained. But as some of the other trainings that we're talking about, no, we're looking at bringing some outside entity to come in to train the entire police department.
Okay. And as far as equipment is concerned, do you have all the equipment that's necessary if we would have an uprising?
We currently, right now, we're going through the process now. We've issued some of the PPE equipment for the officers. We have some that have been, that was contaminated prior to. So we're in the process now of ordering that. We've reached out to several other departments and agencies to try to receive some, and also agencies to be able to purchase, vendors to be able to purchase that equipment.
Okay, so we don't have that equipment as of now.
Half the department has, the other half not. What we've assisted because of that is what Miami-Dade has done through my communication with their director. If they have placed in close proximity in the event that we have teams to be able to assist us with that.
Understood. And do we have any policies and procedures that discuss riot control or protest or anything like that currently?
No, sir.
Hold up. So we say we don't have any riot control or policies that govern police officers when dealing with a large group of people and unruly people.
No, I'm sorry, I misunderstood your question. Yes, we do have a policy with that. We're actually updating the policy.
Okay. And you're updating it with the use of force language that and policies that people are pushing for? Or is this just the standard update?
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, I didn't understand your question.
I was asking if if you were looking into use of force policy recommendations or de-escalation and not using excessive force as a part of the policy update. I'm wondering if that was something that you were considering as chief.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Anything else for the chief?
I would like to see that policy, Chief, if you can send that to me. I'd like to see those policies. I've seen the use of force, but I would like to see riot control, large crowd control policies and various different things like that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Manager, who's next?
I will ask our public relations and marketing consultant to do her report. Ms. Mockins.
Good evening, City Manager. Good evening, Mayor and the City Commission. Our report for this week is that we were able to get out a media advisory for the food drive, which takes place on Tuesdays. Printed out palm cards in Creole and Spanish, in addition to the English palm cards that were already printed out, and turn those over to the city manager. All posting that has been on social media has been in English, Spanish, and Creole. We currently have an ad running for the testing site in Spanish. This week we will have a code red call done by Commissioner Burke. It will be also in English, Spanish, and Creole. We were able to launch the City of Opa-locka newsletter that went out to our existing database. We have 6 additional testing directional signs in regards to Shabandi going up on tomorrow morning. They will lace 22nd Avenue on identified fences. We were also able to organize for a church testing for this Sunday. It's in the spirit of Souls to the Polls. It's called Souls Take Control. We created flyers, issued press releases, scheduled several radio interviews. The last radio interview will be tomorrow on WMBM. Commissioner Kelly will be calling in on Dr. K's show. We were also able to secure a participation and partnership with the NAACP Miami chapter, who will also be on site on Sunday at Shabandi Park at 1 p.m. Reuben Roberts, the president, assured me that he will have his staff and volunteers out to support the event, as well as getting the word out to all of their members. Last note, also on social media, our normal reach, or our reach this week, was 7,826 viewers, and that is up by 1,300 from last week. Are there any questions?
Any questions for our PR consultant?
Mayor Paget.
And Commissioner Bass?
Not a question, just a comment. Thank you so much. And I'm elated about the newsletter. I would love to see that. Thank you so much for the work that you have been putting in, and let's move forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Mayor.
Commissioner Kelly?
Thank you. I want to thank Ms. Mockins for her efforts on working with the Souls Take Control for the churches to get the word out. Hopefully and prayerfully, we'll get a good a turnout with that and try to finalize the last of the pieces. Of course, it can't be exactly like social polls because of the social distancing, but we do anticipate and hope for a good turnout of the community to come out and get tested. So I thank her and the manager and everyone for really pushing it. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
Um, Commissioner Burke, did you speak?
Yes, yes.
All right, Commissioner Burke, then I'll go to you, Commissioner Bass.
Thank
You
you.
know, I just wanted to inform Commissioner Kelly that I will be there Sunday to support him with his soul state control at the COVID-19 site. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right, Commissioner Bass.
Just a question for our PR person I forgot to ask. I wanted to know if that newsletter were also going to be bilingual or trilingual?
Yes, we have to work through how we can do it so that it doesn't become, it looks right and it reads right. So on the second one, we'll have it where we can have it in 3 different languages.
Okay, thank you. Because for me, that is imperative that we be able to get it out there. So all of our residents will be a part of what's going on. Thanks.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, question for IT in regards to PR. Nelson?
Yes, sir.
Can we, I know you provide the email database that we currently have. Can you add to that database all city-related email addresses as well, so all the employees as well as the commission is able to get that newsletter?
Yes, I can absolutely help with that. Also, can we somehow advertise so new residents can sign up to the newsletter that are not on the list?
So can we get a constant contact link to put on the website, Jessica?
The sign up can stay as it is with the from your website. I do believe that is how they signed up. Is that correct, Nelson?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so what we can do is then start promoting it on Constant Contact, that if that is how you would like, if you would like to receive the newsletter, here's how to sign up. And we can also create that type of language on our social media platform to engage the community residents in a different way, as opposed to them just going directly to the website.
Perfect.
All right, so I want to thank everyone that's involved in making sure that what word that's going on in Opa-locka is out into the community. Quick question: how does information selected or curated for the newsletter?
It typically is just all of the press releases that have been submitted that we have put out. But again, because this is something that is brand new, we definitely would like to make sure that everyone receives whatever it is that they would like in a newsletter. So maybe we can do some type of timeline where if you have something that you would like submitted, we can include it in a newsletter. However, if you want it to be included in a newsletter, I do believe that it should be something that we've already been promoting. And so those were the things that were included in a newsletter: the census, testing site, and our Souls Take Control on Sunday.
Okay, and how often will the newsletter be going out?
Under my contract, we were doing 3, so it was 1 per month. So the one that just went out concluded the May timeframe.
Okay, I do want to make sure that if we're doing a monthly newsletter to the community, that it does take into consideration many of the things that we're doing as a city to face our 4 major challenges that we're facing. People need to know very clearly the updates we're having. We're making sure that our finances are together, what we're doing to address the flooding, what we're doing to address this Durham moratorium that goes to our businesses, and our roads and streets project, so that they're very clear about some of the successes that we've had since the beginning of this year, and what's our plan moving forward and where we're going, so that people know what's going on. So
maybe, Mayor, I can, if I can, maybe I can get with you to create a mayor's greeting that can bullet point the things that you have been working on, and so that we can alert the community. It can either be in a letter format or something like a graph where it can be very easily interpreted by looking at it.
Yeah, that would be nice. We just want to make sure our community is up to date on what's going on. And I'm glad that we actually having something go out on a consistent basis that consolidates all the information that we're posting through social media and through press releases. So thank you very much, Ms. Watkins, for leading that charge.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Manager.
Thank you. So the remainder of my report will be brief so we can get into the city Opa-locka Parks and Recreation presentation. As a preface, Ms. Russell, we have 15 minutes to get through your presentation, so it gives at least 10 minutes for the commission and the mayor to provide questions. So just to let the commission know, as far as the test site is concerned, we've been having issues cracking that over 100 testing rate. I will tell you proudly today, we hit 101 tested at the testing site. So this is a big number for today. I'm excited because it's been raining. So for it to be raining to hit 100 is a big milestone. So this is the second day that we've hit over 100. So I see positive things happening moving forward. I think our Souls Take Control is going to be very successful on Sunday. We're probably going to peak over 100 on that day as well. So we're looking good on that. Our average days, we're averaging about 70 people. So we can get over 100. The county is saying, hey, we got 200 testing kits per day. We want you to use the 200. So basically that's the communication that's been going out. So we're going to try to push to get us over 100 a day. Like I said, we've been having bad luck with weather, and then we have been having issues in regards to the civil unrest that's been going on in the United States. So we had to cancel one day to be preventative as far as the civil unrest is going. We have a somber day on Sunday. Our current incident commander is leaving, and we're getting a new incident commander from the state. So we're doing actually a transition on the same day. We're doing Souls Take Control, which is actually a good time for the commission to meet the new incident commander that's going to be on site. So everything's kind of moving in a positive direction. The city is currently working on a plan to do mask distribution. We still have the 37,000 masks that we have on hand. We want to kind of push this out with the campaign that we have, the Mask Up campaign that we're pushing out with the city. So residents know that masks are available for a one-time basis issuance initially, and probably do a two-time distribution as well, since we have so many. But we're going to start one mask distribution currently, how we kind of put that out. Police have provided their report, PRs provide their report. My key reporting items is really PR. The mayor spoke on getting a call center together. We executed contracts this week for our new phone system. So Nelson's rolling that out. We're looking at opening up City Hall in the next 30 days, as soon as we get our equipment installed as far as dealing with temperature monitoring. I did speak to Miami-Dade County today. They will be opening up their customer service center back up in the next week. That will be fully open in a transitional basis. So we're working on kind of reopening the city, making sure we have safety protocols in place, ordering social distancing tags to be placed on the ground, inside and outside, so people know what social distancing is when they're coming into the buildings. Because it's going to create lines, because we only can have so many people in the building at once checking in and going upstairs and conducting business. So things are looking in a positive direction. That concludes my report. I know I didn't hit on every point. I hit on the highlights because we have a presentation today. Does anybody on the commission or the mayor have any questions?
Anybody have any questions for the manager? All right, we can proceed.
Thank you. I'd like to bring up Ms. Russell right now to do her presentation in regards to Summer Camp 2020. If I can have the screen, Mr. Mayor.
And could you introduce Ms. Russell's role?
Yes. So Ms. Russell is the director and in charge of Teen Upward Bound. So she will be providing a presentation today as a follow-on conversation in regards to the Parks and Recreation presentation that was done last week. And let me pull up the presentation. All right. Ms. Russell, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Commission. I'm Janie Russell, Executive Director of Teen Upward Bound. I am here to do a presentation for Summer Camp 2020 and the partnership that we have with the City of Opa-locka and with the Parks and Recreation Department. Our program director, Alexis Gore, will be doing the presentation. We also have on the line one of our board members, Dr. Armin Henderson, which is a medical doctor for any questions that you may have. And we also received this afternoon from Miami-Dade County, the executive order, amendment to order 2320 from the Dade County Mayor, giving executive order for summer camps to be open starting June the 8th. And I just want to say that I've heard the concerns of the community, and those concerns are mine as well. As you know, we've been providing services in the City of Opa-locka for over 20 years. So what goes on in the community is very important to us. So we're not moving forward without hearing the concerns of the community, and we are taking all of those concerns into account. So we appreciate Mr. Brown and the partnership that we have with Opa-locka, with the city, but just know that we follow the rules and regulations of Miami-Dade County that's given down from the CDC and also all of our funders. And every year we do provide the City of Opa-locka with a certificate of insurance, and they are the certificate holder that we are solely responsible for any activities that we provide in the City of Opa-locka. And for those of you that know and have worked or either partnered with nonprofits before, you know, that's a must before you could even begin to provide services for children. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Alexis. I think I said on the call you have Dr. Henderson is there. And then we also have the teacher, just in case you want to ask questions.
Good evening, Mayor and City of Commission. We're going to go, and Mr. Brown and everybody else that's on the line. We're going to jump right into our presentation. The first slide is where we're going to talk about partnership. Collectively, we work very, very closely with the City of Opa-locka Parks and Recreation. Our staff and their staff work jointly together. You see the table that's inserted in the staff where it tells you kind of the areas that each department focuses on. That's just an overview, but we interchange, things are added, things are taken away, and we work collaboratively. But that table you see is just the base level as to what areas that each department focuses on. The next slide, we can go ahead with the next slide. Since COVID-19 and since school has closed as of March 16th, we have been out in the community, and even though the parks building has been closed, Teen Upward Bound, we still have done the following things. We've opened our main office, we sanitized it, we're able to socially distance here at a very limited capacity. We have used our laptops for tutoring. We've provided enrichment services and meal distribution. Our two main, I'm going to call them hot spots that we've really focused on has been the 22nd Avenue apartment and the Gardens apartments. We've given out homeschool supplies, we've given out arts and craft supplies, and we've given out meals and snacks as well that the children can partake of. We did a hot meal drive-through, and our staff have been available on virtual platforms to provide tutoring and homeschool assistance for the kids that needed it within the community. We could go to the next slide. And also we have provided masks. We've given out about 250 masks throughout the community as well. Now, transitioning to the new normal for youth and after school summer camps. We have followed the federal CDC. We have kept up with what our governor has been saying. We have kept up with what the county has been saying. The Early Learning Coalition has given out guidance to us. The Children's Trust has given out guidance to us. And now we're here with you, the city, to hear what you have to say to make sure that we provide the safest place for our children in the city. And not only will we be providing a face-to-face, we will also be providing a virtual camp for those kids who do not attend an in-face camp. We will operate at a 50% capacity. Our summer capacity combined with the city, team up with Bound in the city together at Shabundy Village, we normally max out at 135 to 150 students for the summer. Those students come from about 60% of those students are city of Opa-locka residents. Whether they come from, get registered through the city of Opa-locka, or they'll come registered through Teen Upward Bound. Once we enter the building, we're all one camp. We're all one family. Campers will stay in small groups together. When you say campers will stay in small groups together, what you mean is each classroom of kids, those kids will stay together. Kids won't intertwine. One staff will be with that small group of kids throughout the day. That does not mean that the children will stay housed in one particular small area throughout the day. And priority will be given to outdoor activities. Hand washing, as always with children, will be like overly exaggerated. And in this case, hand sanitizer will be the last result. Soap and water to wash your hands will be what is highlighted. Face coverings will be mandatory. While the children are inside of the building and within their small group, face coverings will be mandatory by children and staff. And we will ask that anybody who does enter the building for any reason will have the face coverings. Employees, staff who are sick, children who are sick will stay home. They will stay home. Temperatures will be checked. It will be logged and it will be monitored. Signage will be put out the building will be blanketed on the outside and on the inside with signage. Most of the signage that we have already started will come from the CDC, and they will be kid-friendly signage. I'm putting up one. This is one of the hand washing signs that you will see, and it's fight germs and it's like superhero to make sure that it's child friendly and that it will be great. And this is another one, and telling kids about germs and the importance of washing hands. And those things will be blanketed throughout the building. And also traffic signs will be put on the floors and on the walls to make sure we direct the flow of traffic. Now, maintaining a healthy environment. Clean and sanitation will be utmost priority. We have already put a plan in place to increase the routine cleaning and disinfecting throughout the day. Gloves will be used at all times for cleaning, taking out the trash. After you do anything like that, gloves have to be thrown away. Shared objects, anything that's shared with staff and or children will be disinfected after every use. Disinfectant products that disinfectant products that are recommended for use for children. We've already have some of that in-house, but those things will be readily available. Art supplies, games, everything will be cleaned and sanitized between each use. And we're also hiring staff that's their job to clean and sanitize. The water system. We're following the CDC guideline where they recommend that the water systems be prohibited. Therefore, we will be providing bottled water at all times throughout the day. The water fountains will not be in use. They will be, it'll probably be the caution tape or some type of barrier so we can make sure that those water fountains are not used. The high traffic areas, the high touch areas such as doorknobs, the push things to go out the door, those areas will be highlighted, and those are the areas again that will be that we will make sure is sanitized every hour on the hour. In the supplies, when it's feasible, children will everybody will have their own pencil case where they have their own set of crayons, they'll have their own pencil, their own pen, so we won't have to worry about children sharing those types of materials. The modified layout. Seating will be 6 feet apart. We walked the building with Mr. Brown and we kind of was able to set up the tables and chairs to do like a mock setup so we can see what it will look like, what 6 feet apart looks like. And with that, we see that we can successfully do it. Right now, we have the 6 feet long tables where one child will be at each end of the table, and you have a sneeze guard separated, a clear sneeze guard separating the two children. We have purchased those things now. We're waiting for sneeze guards because those things are on back order. And in addition to that, we are in the process of purchasing single desks where each child, instead of using the tables, the children will be at individual desks. Like we said, physical guides such as tape on the sidewalks, floors, walls to keep the flow of traffic. The communal spaces, kind of were the spaces where everybody gathered, those spaces will either be staggered when it's not feasible to have them closed all together. And if they are staggered meaning that they'll go, only one group of children will be in that area at a time. No one will be in the area at the same time. After each group leaves that area, even if it's an outside area, staff will come in, disinfect that area to get it prepared for the next group of children to come in.
All right, Ms. Gore, just for the sake of for questions, if you can wrap up within the next 3 minutes.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Food services, campers will be encouraged to bring their own food in individual packaged bags. For children, in the event that that's not feasible for a parent, we are partnering with an authorized state of Florida vendor and a vendor that is authorized through the Children's Trust Flippany, and they will be delivering individually packaged food for the children, and the children will eat in their own designated classroom areas. They will not eat in a communal space. Sign in and sign out, all of that will happen outside of the building. Parent will bring the child will get his or her temperature taken, parent will sign in, the book will be disinfected between each person sign in, child will go inside of the building, we'll have a great summer camp day. At the end of the day, we have a walkie-talkie system. When a parent comes to pick a child up, It will be within a designated time period. Staff that's outside will call for the child on a walkie-talkie. Child will exit the building and go with the parent. So, okay, some of the daily literacy camp activities, you have literacy activities. Most of that will be done on the laptop computers that we do have available. Supplemental, the main curriculum that we'll be using for that is Playbooks Readers Theater, because it allows for the plays to be done and acted at a safe 6 feet distance. And then on the slide, you also see other supplemental materials that will be done, that can be done virtually, and it can be done on individual, either a laptop or tablet, so the children won't have to huddle within a small group. The fitness activities will be done again according to social distancing. Sparks will be the curriculum, and priority will be given to those outdoor activities. The same will go for arts and crafts and free choice activities. Field trips will be done virtually, which they will be called experiences, or the field, the field trip will come to the camp. And if the field trip comes to the camp, anybody their temperature will be taken to make sure that it is safe for the vendor to come and interact with the children doing small groups. In-person field trips will not resume until we get that authorized by either the city, the county, or the state. Recruitment. How will we, being that we'll only be at 50% capacity, recruitment will be given first priority to first responders, second priority that have attended the camp, Parks and Recreation, and Teen Up with Bound in the past, City of Opa-locka residents, and then the community at large. Okay, you can see how the word will get out: digital, telephone, flyers, and we'll make sure we blanket the community.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
Wrap up.
Yes, I can go ahead and take your questions.
All right, the floor is open for questions. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Mayor Paget, quickly.
Commissioner Bass?
You mentioned small groups. How many students will be in that group?
It'll be 9 students to one staff to keep with the 10 ratio.
Okay.
The ratio of 1 to 10.
Okay, I heard Mrs. Russell mention the insurance, and she stated basically that the insurance was in conjunction with the City of Opa-locka. Is that correct?
No, the City of Opa-locka is an additional insured on Teen Up Was Bound insurance. What that means is the City of Opa-locka is covered doing Teen Up Was Bound activities. Teen Up Was Bound assumes the liability in the event that there is an incident.
Okay, one more question. Is it possible for me to get a copy of that contract? And when was the last time the contract was updated?
Which contract would you be speaking of?
A partnership between Team Up Was Bound and City of Opa-locka.
That will come. You will have to talk to the city manager in reference to getting a copy of that contract.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments for Teen Up Was Bound?
Mayor.
Vice Mayor Davis.
Thank you. To Teen Up Was Bound, I heard a mention to, I guess, a summer feeding program, but it was restrictive to kids in our camp. I know that in the past, Miami-Dade County has coordinated with the Parks and Rec Department to provide summer feeding programs for not only just our campers, but for kids at large within the city. Has any conversations been had about that, either from the county or internally through the manager's office, as far as implementing that or not implementing it based on the CDC and county guidelines?
That's a question for me?
Yes.
Because, okay, for right now, the guidance that has been given is to limit meals to children who are enrolled in your program. Right now, they're not recommending that you give meals to the community at large. But we were still planning on doing the meal and snack delivery in the individual bags that we have been doing since the COVID-19 had started. But far as allowing the community to come to the facility to get the lunch, that's not a recommended practice at this time.
Thank you. And yeah, that was basically my concern. So, thank you for, I guess, turning into a delivery operation and, cutting down the mitigation, because I know that was the whole goal of reopening, is to limit the foot traffic kind of in our buildings, but also keep our activities running consistently. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
we only got 4 minutes. Why did it always happen to me? Let me just ask a couple of questions. You mentioned that you have some stuff on order that you're going to be using as it relates to the camp, desk and some other things, partition or something that makes the separation. You say it's on order. You have any idea? Are they giving you an indication when those things will come in?
Right now, some of the things, I don't have that information, but in the event that I don't get an update by Monday date. Now the thermometers we already have in-house. The tables we already have in-house. Transitioning to the desk, those are things that I'm trying to wait till Monday before we get an update as to when we'll get those in. We do have some backup plans that if it does not come in, building them ourselves or going to other vendors within where we can actually go into a store and purchase them.
Okay, only reason I'm asking because Mr. Brown showed us a layout at our last workshop, I guess, of tables and things laid out in some of the rooms, which will require some more amenities to make that work. That's why I'm asking that. And also, according to what your numbers are, you said you usually do 135, which I know is normally a lot of kids. So this time, the total number, I guess, of 50% capacity would be somewhere around 70 or 65 or something like that?
Yes.
Okay.
And the kids, and we will also still have a virtual component for children who don't get into the enrollment. Now, with this plan, we're still working out logistics, even if we go to staggered days. Some kids come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Some kids come on Mondays and Wednesdays. So we can get more kids to provide whatever we can do to provide the most amount of kids in the limitations that we have is what we'll do. So even if it's staggered kids on staggered days, that's also a possibility.
Okay, I know we're at our 6:29. I won't hold it up. Okay, thank you for those responses. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
I thank you very much, Teen Upper Bound, Ms. Russell, and then Ms. Gore for providing that presentation. Much more information than the last time and much more comfort. I do have quite a bit of questions, but due to the time and we have a special commission meeting that we have to start in a few moments, I will reserve those questions. But just to be very quick, I do want to be clear about the difference between the programming done by Teen Upper Bound and the programming done by park staff, and how the setup will be at another location. I'm assuming that Teen Upper Bound location is at Shabundy Park, but I know there's a Siegel Park, I think, facilities that was mentioned last time. So I do want to be clear about what that is and what's going to be the difference in resources and how parents are able to get that information out. The only question I really want to get answered right now is when are you planning on starting?
Our target date is to start on the 15th.
All right, so that's what we're shooting for. So we got at least one more commission meeting to get a lot more details and get some questions answered. So I invite you and Parks to come out to our commission meeting coming up this Wednesday. so that we can have those questions answered. But with that said, I do want to close out this.
Okay, and
meeting.
Mr. Mayor, Mr.
yes.
Mayor, we are always available to meet individually or at any given time that you need us. I mean, you know, my cell phone, Ms. Russell's cell phone, you know, we're ready to available to answer any questions or have any meetings if need be.
Right. Thank you very much. So with that said, we have to close out this COVID-19 workshop. Please join us next week for at Thursday at 5:30 as we continue to have these weekly workshops during this pandemic. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Kelly,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor Davis. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much.